So one of our main problems was that we couldn't get a conversion rate from inquiry to booking a viewing. So we'd see the inquiries coming into the inbox and they could run the data to let us know that we'd received maybe 100 inquiries that month. But then we wouldn't then be able to see how that converted into booking a viewing and visiting the venue. So we were very much in control ourselves of seeing how a face-to-face appointment would convert to a paid deposit. But what we weren't able to see is, based on what we were spending on either SEO or pay-per-click that converted into a brochure request, how likely they were when they received a brochure to then come in and book an appointment at the venue. I think that was the main thing with DHM, and the reason why it stood out is because of the speciality in the hospitality sector. We often got approached by other marketing companies guaranteeing that they'd be able to get us onto page one, kind of promising the world with e-newsletters and SEO, but they'd never really understood what our customer was actually looking for online and how we wanted to be represented online. So to have somebody like yourselves that actually understand the sector in detail and how we could advertise, but advertised emotionally, because it is an emotional product. It's something that's very visual, and you kind of got that and understood that it isn't just facts and figures. It's how we appeal to the customer and our guest as a wedding venue rather than as a hotel or even just as a business. There was, yes, and the biggest obstacle for us was coming to terms with the fact that we'd have to remove the person behind the inquiry. I would say that was something that we always felt was very important to us as a hotel, and specifically as a wedding venue, that when we received an inquiry in, that we would want to put our own personal reply back. And obviously having an automated response was removing that person and that kind of unique reply. What we did come to realise is that you can still do that afterwards, and there's no harm when you've had the brochure sent out automatically, picking up the phone and discussing the details with the person. And actually, at inquiry, the main important thing for that person is to see what you're charging, if it's affordable, and what you're offering. Does it align with what we want our wedding day to be like? So actually, they do just want a brochure in their inbox. And it's about what you do afterwards with it, both through the DHM emails following the brochure, but also for us picking up the phone. Yeah, one of the big things was the book a viewing calendar. We'd often find that we'd engage in conversation with couples and they'd show interest in wanting to come in, but we'd kind of close the shift. We'd then arrive the following day and we'd maybe have back-to-back wedding viewings. And by the time we'd get to the inbox, we'd find that the person that we were building a relationship with the day before had responded at maybe 7 o'clock the previous night to try and arrange an appointment to come in. We'd then have to type away and list what appointments we've got available, what time they can come in. And by the time they'd responded with their preferred time and date, someone else would have taken that appointment. So I definitely think that did affect our conversion rate from requesting a brochure to getting them into coming in to have a look round. The link with booking a viewing works so seamlessly that sometimes I think they probably check the availability and then just go back to it when it's convenient for them. I'd say the people, I know it sounds really cringy, and especially after I've just said about removing the person from an inquiry. But I think there's a lot of things when you're running a business that you do feel sometimes a little bit lonely with in making a decision. And I'd say that the team there, you can just call up and sound an idea out, and they'll, because they are specialists in the hospitality sector, they'll often say, actually, yeah, we've done something similar in the past. Let me send you some examples. The speed of which as well, that everything's addressed is fantastic. So whatever we want to implement, normally 2 or 3 days later, they're on it, and make sure that it's all done as you want it to be. And I think we often get distracted in our sector with looking after the guests. So all the follow-up calls and things that happen to kind of prompt us to meet deadlines really helps as well, so that a project does actually get finished. It's not started, seems like a great idea, and then kind of peters off. Everything gets done from start to finish. One of the big things is accurate reporting. So we've been able to have a look at year-on-year statistics of, especially in the current climate with everything that's happening and with COVID, that we've been able to see, has that impacted the amount of inquiries that we've been receiving online? So each month we get reports on the leads and how many viewings we've got. We then offset that and compare it against what we had the previous year. Because we've been with you for over a full calendar year now, we can see what the trends are, when the peaks and troughs are for inquiries, and also for viewings as well, because you do report on how many viewings we've got. So we can see if we've tweaked the spend on the pay-per-click, has that dramatically affected our inquiries and in turn affected our viewings, or has it actually not made a difference? So I think it allows us to sit with the accurate reporting and really fine tune everything. Also as well, the remarketing, we didn't actually do that previously. And we've noticed that has been a big benefit to us as well. I would say, obviously there's the wedding method, and that was the key driver in us moving towards DHM. I would actually say that's been the bit that we've forgotten about in a way, but I would say that's because it's such a good system that works in the background, that you can forget about it, that you can have your team going and doing their job and showing people around and looking after the guests without becoming, we hate the word, but admin, and that really, I would say, is one of the biggest strengths, that no matter how busy we are looking after the guests, that we always know the inquiries are being looked after. And yeah, I would say that the added value as well that you get has been the biggest surprise to us, really, that all of the extra social JPEGs that we get from you, assistance with newsletters as well. I would say it's great value for money. Just do it, really. I think we deliberated a lot about it at the beginning, and it was something that I feared, taking that person away from the replies and having an automatic response. But the way that it's backed up with a unique URL, the option to send a brochure, I think that really it just means that you can only stand out against your competitor. And all of the added value that you get with it, I just wouldn't hesitate in recommending yourselves. And you will build a relationship with the people there, and they'll be able to advise you on so many other things other than just sending a brochure to somebody, that it really is more of a partnership than just a platform. No, definitely not. No hesitations there. I struggled when you asked the question to think of something, and that's because there isn't anything. Obviously, one of the unique selling points of the wedding method is the unique technology that goes behind it, the secondary landing page that then has the ability to capture them at the beginning, but also send them the option of a secondary, right, okay, now we've got your details. Would you like the brochure through the post? I think the other thing that's fantastic is the fact that it treats hospitality as a profession. So whenever you want to ask any advice, there is always somebody there that can assist you and specialises in hospitality in a professional manner. So you are putting yourself across exactly the same as you would do if somebody walked through your front door. That level of professionalism, how you're viewed online, is there. And also, even to when you pick up the phone to speak to you, to ask you questions at the office, you're dealt with in a professional manner. And I think that, you know, that's something that's so important because it comes across, and it does mean a lot to us to have that mutual respect, both from the business but also across to the customer online. So one of the things that we found has been really beneficial, and we hadn't really thought about until you kind of brought it to our attention, is when the couple are searching for their venue, it's a visual process, and they'll go online and they are bombarded with images and distractions. And something that you mentioned to us from the onset that has kind of resonated with us is that when they land on your page on the website, whether you're directing them from a social media platform, or they've come through Hitched, or they've come straight off your website through a Google search, that you don't want to let them see anything that could potentially put them off. So having this one image that represents your business, capturing their data before they're distracted and go into other areas, I think that's such a good point that, you know, you probably don't, well, we didn't think about it before. We were trying to load so many pictures to please everybody that there'd be something there that they maybe think, oh, I don't like that pattern carpet, or I don't like a country house look, or I don't like the barn look. You know, just having one detail image that captures them, get the details, and then they're in the system, rather than them being distracted and being put off before we've got their data, basically.